Hi everyone. Today we need to talk about the single greatest moment of my life. Just before I get into my story, I'm a bit all over the place with my filming because of my new job. I've not really got a routine just yet. I've been having to do all these different shifts to get used to how to work all the different things at my new job. So hopefully I'll have a better, more frequent rota and I'll be able to film weekly again. So I apologise for that first. Now, as you can probably tell, I've literally just got home, got changed, and now I'm telling you this story. I want you to, obviously not going to experience it with me, but I want you to experience it as best that we can together. I want to share this with you guys, and I think you all will probably feel like, that it was a beautiful thing to share. Yes, I lost my voice. I got very into it. It's Epica, for Christ's sake. I'm not a subtle fan at all. I was screaming my head off during that concert. I was singing every lyric. I was doing Mag and Simone voices. Therefore, this is what I've ended up with. But I don't care. We need to talk, guys. This is important. This is the story. This is the story. Right. Anyways, so the actual concert itself was beautiful. We had 3 bands. Scar Symmetry, Eluviti, I want to say, or Eluveti. I'm really sorry. I've never really heard of them before, so I don't know how to pronounce it. And of course, Epica. I enjoyed the support bands, but they weren't exactly my full cup of tea. There was a lot of growling vocals, and whilst I love Mark Jansen, I feel like he's a lot easier to understand than a lot of other vocalists like that. And of course, Simone does the main vocals in Epica, so it's not all that. So whilst I had fun, they weren't exactly 100% my thing, but I made the most of it, of course, because that's what you do. I've got notes on my phone, so I'm just looking at it to make sure you get everything. So yeah, I made a lot of really great friends there. I made loads of just random friends in the crowd, and then I met people who were friends with my best friend who I went with, and made some friends and had a really nice time. Really great group to go with. A lot more people than I expected, because the last time I saw Epica in Manchester, it was I could have had a full circle all around me to just do whatever I wanted. Anyways, so my phone's not playing, my phone's not having it. Anyway, so yeah, the set, amazing, beautiful. Some great choices in there. All I'm gonna say is Matter of the Free Word was in there. Just yes, and Last Crusade. I love that song. My only downfall of the entire thing, my only complaint, is that there was a lot of pits going on, and I'm really not into that. I just like to do my own little windmill into myself. I'm quite scared of pits actually, and so that did dampen. It was mainly during the support acts, so it was okay. But at the Phantom Agony, everyone just did it again, and I was really scared. I just wanted to enjoy it, but it's okay. I got through it. I made it alive. And then after the concert, someone who I made friends with came up to me and was like, I caught 2 guitar picks. Here's one, and gave me a Mark Jansen guitar pick. And I was just like, thank you so much. And he was like, I know how much you love him. You're really going to appreciate this. And I genuinely proved to people in that audience that I am a crazy Epica fan. I was like, I'm warning you now, I love them so much. And then everyone was like, wow, you really do. And I even got a compliment from someone in the audience who I'd never met before. He wasn't with my friends or anything, about my fantastic windmilling skills, apparently. So that was nice. Anyway, so the gig finishes, and my friend is talking to her friends a little bit aside, and I've gone to get a drink of water, and I look through this little window in doorway, and there is Cohen going past, and I'm like, ooh. So I'm looking through this door, thinking maybe if I hang around this door, I might see somebody. So I'm hanging around this door, next thing I know, someone comes over to me and is like, Vicky, Mark Jansen's there. And I'm like, ah! And I absolutely like, was like, oh my God. And I went to get my phone so that I could take pictures and things, and my phone was dead. My phone was dead. I met Epica and my phone was dead. I couldn't take photos. So it's very sad. Luckily, someone who was with the group of people I was with took all the photos, and he said he's going to email them. So as soon as I get them, I will make a video of the pictures, and if I don't get them, I will have a vendetta against that guy for the rest of my life. So yeah, my phone, I decided to just go nuts in my pocket, and it had rung my mum loads of times. My mum was like, why did you keep ringing me? And it was going on the internet, and it was going like in all the apps. So no phone, dead. The greatest moment of my life, and my phone's dead. Anyways, so we turned around and Mark was there, as I said, and I burst into tears. I really did. I was just like, ah! Like I couldn't believe that I was meeting someone from Epica in the flesh. Someone was actually like there from Epica, and I absolutely cried. And then Mark noticed me and was like, oh, like, why are you upset? And I was like, I'm not, I'm just too happy. And he was really nice to me. Sorry, I'm trying to read all my notes. I want you to know everything. He was really nice to me, and he gave me a cuddle, and he was like, it's all okay. And one of the few photos that I actually have got, because someone else took a photo, another one of my friends, it's me and Mark, and he's just like admiring my tears in the photo. Like, he's just looking at me like, and that is just amazing. Me and my friend cracked up so many times at that photo. And and we started talking to Mark a little bit, and I literally just thanked him for Epica. I was just like, thank you so much for starting Epica. Like, it's the greatest thing you've ever done. And he was really understanding about the fact that I was a bit of a, like, I didn't want to be crazy, but I guess I was a fan. And I probably humiliated myself a little bit, but he was really nice about it in his understanding, and we spoke a bit about how much I've travelled to go see them, and that I wish they'd come back to the UK more, and we were talking a bit about album, and I actually had quite a long chat with Mark Jansen. He was really, really nice to me. And then we turned around from Mark, because I of course I had to let some other people go talk to him. I couldn't argue him all to myself. And then there was, I think it's pronounced Arian, the drummer. And I was just like, a beast. That's what I keep calling him the beast, because, you know, if you've watched Retrospect, definitely you'll see it in there after he does his drum solo. Mark's like, the beast. And I was just like, oh my God. So my friend dragged me over to him, and poor guy, he was topless and covered in his own sweat still from the gig, but I was covered in my own sweat from the gig, so it wasn't like disgusting really when you think about it. But I was just like, oh my God. And the tears have kind of like come out then, so I was a bit more like talkative, and I was a bit more all there. And he seemed like so happy that people were actually like recognising him. And I guess when you are a drummer, and especially in a symphonic metal band, you are at the back, and like people might not instantly know you, but I was just like, I love you. And I told him about how much I love his solo, because like his solos in general, because I just love his energy. He's just full of it. And he spoke to us about the new album, and one of the people who I was with is Portuguese, and the drummer's girlfriend is Portuguese, so they were like talking a little bit about it, and like, you know, he was really good at speaking in Portuguese, and we were all like saying, oh, it's really good you've learned the language. And then later on as well, when we were outside the venue, Arian came over to us again, and it was just like, hey, I was like talking away, and we were just talking about like his girlfriend, and about like the concert, how it had gone, and just, you know, just general like chit chat. And I had quite a good conversation with him as well, and I just couldn't believe how much these guys wanted to talk to us. So yeah, we got outside of the venue. We met Mark and Arian in the venue, and then we went outside and met Arian again. But when we got outside the venue, I started talking to more people who'd been to the gig, and I started talking to a few different people, and they all decided I was the biggest Epica fan there, and they like couldn't believe that I'd cried for Mark Jansen. And, so when it got time to the other band members coming out, these guys were like, this girl is your biggest fan, and like pushing me towards other members, so that I kind of like got in, like, not priority, that wasn't priority, but I guess like in these people's eyes they decided that I deserved to meet them, and it was so lovely and it was really great. So yeah, we got outside and we're waiting, and the first member to come outside was actually Arian. That's why we're speaking to him. But then after that it was Isaac, and he couldn't believe how much I loved them, because they pushed me over to him and was like, this is your biggest fan, and he was like, really? And I was like, Epica is my favourite thing ever. And he was like, ever? And I was like, yeah, like I just adore you guys. And he was just like, wow, like you're really dedicated. I'm like, yeah. And we talked about them coming back to England, and he said it's going to probably be 2 years. And then we were talking about the British weather. He said how beautiful the tour had been, everywhere they'd gone was lovely weather, and then they came to England and the weather was horrendous. And you know, that's what you've got to do. I said, come in the summertime and it'll be a bit better, but obviously that's not really when like tours happen. So then after that, I looked just behind Isaac, and there was like Rob, the bass player, was just behind him. And like he only had a couple of people talking to him, and I thought, why? This man is like one of the greatest moshers of all time. Literally every time I've watched Epica, whether it be actually live in person or on a video, his like absolute presence on that stage, I look at him and I'm like, wow, you're really into what you're doing, and I love that. And so I told him about how he's like one of the best moshers I've ever seen. And he did like a little hair flick and was like, oh, thank you. And like he found it really funny, and he was just so sweet. And I just found it like weird that not many people were like going towards him, at least when I was there. That was when he like first emerged, so I thought that'd be when everyone came to him. But so I was really glad that I got that time with him. And then so these guys have all come out, and then Simone Simmons comes out, and I just burst into like the most irrational tears I've ever burst into in all my life. I was just like crying, trying to get my breath back, and I was trying to talk to my friend like and I was just like all over the place. And luckily, like there was a lot of people obviously for Simone, and I wasn't like first instantly, even though people were trying to get me in there first. So I managed to get my composure back a little bit. Like I was just like at the, you know, like when you've like at the end of tears and you're just like I was at that stage. And you know, then I got handed over to Simone, and everyone was like, literally, this is your biggest fan. And she was like, oh really? And here is the truth about Simone Simmons. Simone Simmons is not a bitch. She if she can handle my teary face with like a sense of kindness, then how can people think she's such a bitch? Like she comforted me a little bit. Like she was just like, she gave me a little bit of a cuddle, like one of these kind of cuddles. Because we all know she's not a really touchy-feely person anyway. And she, you know, she had a little chat with us all about like going to a concert, and I was talking to her about how much we travelled to go see them in London, and she was like, oh, it took us that same amount of time too to get there. And I was just like, I kept saying sorry to her for crying at her, and she just like kind of like, it's okay, like, you know, it's okay. Yes, she was a bit sleepy and a bit like kind of not outgoing, but I don't think Simone is an outgoing person. Like, she's not in your face. That's just her personality, and if you don't like that as a fan, then you're obviously not paying enough attention to Epica anyway, if you think that she's just going to be like, hey, and like letting you all like smush her in, and like, she's just quite a reserved person, I think, and I respect her for that. And the tears that I had for her were probably like a bit embarrassing, a bit crazy, but they were just out of so much respect and like love. Like, not, obviously I'm not in love with her, but like I love her in a respectful way, and I hope she understood that, and I hope I didn't creep her out too much, and I said sorry so many times. But I met Simone Simmons, like, oh god, I'm going again. I met Simone Simmons. Anyways, and then she spoke about the new album and how they're definitely going to be coming back to England because they've realised they've got an audience there now. So yeah, it was just fantastic. And then she was like, I need to go in the tour bus now, because, you know, she'd met everyone, and like I say, she's not really like a fan of big crowds or anything, and you can tell she's just quite a reserved person. She wants to see like the fans, but she doesn't want to be all like in it. I think she's quite shy, and that's fine. She was lovely to everybody, and I don't understand how people can be so horrible about her. So when the whole Simone thing was over, I turned around and there was Cohen, finally, because I love him. He just makes me laugh all the time. I think he's really funny, and in person he was just so enthusiastic about meeting the fans, and he was chatting away, and he was just like going on about loving metal, and I told him that I loved it when he joins in the vocals, and he was like, oh really? And I was like, yeah, you need to do it more often. If you've seen, I think it's Hellfest, Victims of Contingency, you'll know what I'm on about. It's hilarious, but I just love it because I love how much he gets into it. I think he might get into like the whole performing more than anybody else. And then someone was like, can you give us a sneak peek of the new album? Which I thought, well, he's not exactly going to be carrying it around with him. And then he like opened his mouth and went, la, and then he was like, that's it. And I was like, yes, that's the best thing you've ever done to that guy. It was so funny. And then other people wanted to talk to him, so of course I left him alone, because I wasn't just going to hog them. Yes, I adore Epica, and yes, I kind of do like feel like I needed to spend as much time as possible with them, but I understood that I'm not their only fan, and that it's not fair to just be like, it's all about me. And then, last but not least, the diva of the group, Mark, was the last one to come out and meet the fans the second time. So we were like joking, like, oh, he's being a diva, waiting behind. And then he came and he was smiling at everyone, and he was like, hey guys, can I just put my stuff in the van? And then, because we'd already met him before, we were kind of like, bye, we're going home now. It was great to meet you all, kind of thing. And he was just like, I'm really glad you enjoyed it. And and then they all got in their bus, and me and my friend got on our bus, and I'd had the greatest night of my life. Oh my god, like, I just could not believe they were there in the flesh. This is like one of the first gigs where I haven't had to rush off the public transport, or, you know, just being like dragged away or whatever reason. Like, I've actually been able to stay and then get this beautiful experience. And oh god, I'm crying again. And I got to humiliate myself in front of my favourite band. I hope they didn't think I was too crazy. I'm sorry. If anyone from Epica ever sees this, I'm really sorry. I've just adored you for so long. And I just couldn't believe they were there. Oh my god, I'm actually going to cry again. Yeah, so on that bombshell, I'm going to go. And hopefully I'll get an email from the guy who took pictures, and I'll be able to share them with everybody, because I just want you all to know, like, I want you to all experience this with me, because that's one thing on this channel. We all, like, we have our own group of loving Epica. So I just love the fact it's brought us all together. And yeah, before I cry my eyes out, I'm gonna go again. Thank you for watching so much. Bye.